Hey guys, real estate life Q&A with me today. So I'm just going to answer what was one of the worst showings that I've had. So not worse because of what's happening with my client. Like I loved my client. I helped them buy a house and sell a house. But worse because of the actual house that we were going to show. So this particular client was an out-of-town buyer. So we were doing Facebook Live video tours for them. And one of the houses that we showed was just so creepy. And it ends up turning into a hilarious story that they continue to tell people, which is funny too. But so we go in, it's a standard tri-level in a Papillion neighborhood in our area. And we are, it's already dusk. Again, because they're out of town, I'm by myself doing a video tour. And typically when I go in for video tours, I usually go through the whole house, turn every light on so that I don't have to do that in the video. But this one, it already had like a creepy vibe to it, a creepy feeling. And I'm like, I just don't want to go through this whole house by myself. It's dusk, it's getting dark out. It's just creepy. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to turn on the first level of lights and then I'll get them on the video and maybe I'll feel better about it as they're on video and it feels like someone's with me. So I go through and do that. I like run through this house because I'm already creeped out and scared. So I go through and we get in, I talk about the exterior of the home, we get inside, and it's a standard like multi-level style home. So there's like an entryway and the front door and the garage door is in like the same area. So I start out by showing that. I'm like, okay, here's the garage. I go out into the garage and there's like 4 or 5 doors in this garage. I'm like, why are there so many doors? This is weird. This is not normal. And I've shown not millions, I'm being dramatic. I've shown tons of these houses before. I know what this layout looks like. So I go through each door and like 3 of the doors go back into the house. So I'm like, okay, we see where that is. And there's like a door in the corner. This has got to be like maybe a closet or something. So I go and I open the door and it's a dark staircase down. And that's all I can tell. And so I just shut the door and I'm like, I'm not going to do that by myself. Maybe it goes, I'm trying to keep it together. I'm like, maybe it goes to the basement, probably goes to the basement. I've never seen a house like that had a door from the garage to the basement, at least at that time. So I was like, just really weird. I'm not going to go in that yet. We'll see that if that comes up when we hit the basement. So I go back into the house and I start showing. And I only get into like the living room, just like the next room over, and I'm talking about it. And then I hear something move upstairs. I hear like running upstairs. So I immediately get my butt out of there. I'm just like, I am not dealing with this. I forgot to mention this house is vacant, you guys. There's nobody that lives here. It's entirely vacant. Just empty, no furniture, nothing. So I'm just like, no, I'm actually gonna leave now. And I literally, when I heard that, I hadn't even told them that I heard someone run. I just ran out the front door, which was just like right behind me out of the entryway. So I ran back and out of the house, just saying, no, 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 and just ran. And it was so funny. And I got outside and I'm like, trying to gather myself to tell these people over the video what's happening. And they're online with me, but we're not face to face because it's Facebook Live, so they can see me and type out questions, but they can't, I'm not seeing their faces. So I'm like, I am so sorry, you guys, but this house was already giving me kind of like weird vibes. And I think I heard something move upstairs and the house is fully vacant. So I'm like, don't feel comfortable going back inside the house by myself. I said, if you really love this house, I will bring my husband back with me tomorrow and we will see it together. But like, I'm not doing any more tonight by myself. No thanks. So they were like, that is so fine. Like, if you are uncomfortable, we don't want to see the house. Like, it is okay. She's a military wife. So she's like, if you're creeped out, I'm going to be creeped out in this house when I'm by myself, and that's okay. So great. We move on with our lives. And then I had another client like a week later ask to see this house. It probably was like more like a month. It had sat for a while, which is also really creepy, especially in our market. And so it had sat for a while and they wanted to see it. And I was like, okay, but they were in town. So I'm like, this will be better. At least people will be with me. And sure enough, because I never got to figure out what that staircase went to. So sure enough, we go with that client and I show them the house, and they didn't like the house either, but I got to finally figure out where the staircase went to. And it was still weird. It wasn't creepy at the time with other people there, but it was still weird. It went into just a single room in the basement that was like all purple, like purple carpet, purple walls, purple ceiling. It was weird. I don't know what the people use that room for. But it was just a weird house, and it had such a weird energy to it. And so yeah, that was my worst showing. I'm sure, I mean, I've had other bad experiences too that I could tell you stories all day long, but that one is I think the goofiest one, because it was just such a funny, and I wish I could have saved that video of me running out of the front door saying, no, 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 no. Cause it was just after I thought about it, I'm like, I probably looked crazy to these people, but, they loved it. And they were great clients and came back to me and loved it. So yeah, that is probably one of my worst showing experiences. So if you're an agent, post below what's your worst showing, or if you've bought a house and had a terrible experience at a house. Would love to hear it. They're so funny. Some of the stories are so funny, like they're bad at the time, but then you think back on it and you're just like, this is so silly. But I really honestly believe it makes you such a good agent when you've been on weird experiences like that, because you know you know what to do. Obviously in that situation, there wasn't really much to do, but you learn from it. And I always look at everything as, oh, this is just another notch in my belt of learning experience on how to do real estate. So, anyways, I hope you guys enjoy. I hope to share more of these funny stories with you guys, Q&As, things like that. So, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you guys soon. Thanks, guys.